The following program is sponsored by AmeriLife of Central Florida.
Just ahead on Retirement Your Way with AmeriLife of Central Florida. You've been saving for retirement, and now it's time to leave the workforce. Well, today's show is all about what happens next. Bradley and Madison will tell you how to generate an income for your golden years that you can never outlive. Plus, we'll hear how they were recently able to help someone solve their financial issues. And get out your thinking caps, because it's another edition of everybody's favorite financial game show, Right or Wrong. Retirement Your Way starts now. Hello and welcome to Retirement Your Way. I'm Matt McClure. Thanks so much for being a part of things this time around. And I'm here, as always, with Bradley and Madison Harden from AmeriLife of Central Florida. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, it's great to see you again.
Really appreciate having you here. And of course, I know our viewers appreciate your wisdom each and every time, because we talk about, obviously, retirement and how people can have it their way in retirement, because there are a lot of different decision points when it comes to making a plan. And I think having guidance is so important for so many people when it comes to retirement. We did a show not long ago that there was a good significant portion, I forget the number off the top of my head, a good significant portion of the public does not have any help when it comes to planning for retirement. But I know that's what you both are very passionate about and have been doing it for about 17 years now combined, right?
Yeah, correct. We have a combined almost 20 years of experience helping our clients navigate retirement safely all throughout Central Florida.
Yeah, and what we pride ourselves on is creating a relationship first and then educating you on what to possibly look out for in retirement. You should be planning vacations, you should be spending time with your family, you should be doing that stuff, but through our experience in meeting other clients, we can show you problems to avoid. So that way, if that problem does come up for you, Bradley and Madison told me this might happen, so we could take a different path.
Yeah, there are so many things, and everybody's situation is different, but at the same time, there are things that come up, I don't want to call them commonplace, but there are things that you see, I'm sure, multiple times, and so you can give people a heads up and saying, this is a possible scenario for you based on what we see right now. Give them a heads up, give them a plan that's going to account for that. That gives people, I'm sure, just a lot of peace of mind going into their retirement years. That really is what it's all about, folks. And today we're actually talking about how you take the money that you have earned and saved over the years and turning it into income, and preferably income that you can never outlive. People might be like, wait a minute, is that actually a thing? Yeah, guaranteed income that you cannot outlive. It's a real thing that you can have in life, right?
Right, and some of the institutions we work with have been doing this for over 100 years. And so what that means is during the Great Depression, had you, started a plan with them during that time, they would have paid that check every month, no matter what. And if something would have been left behind, they would have paid that to your beneficiaries. So this is something that has been around for a long time, but we see gaining a lot of popularity with today's retirees.
And just how the plans have evolved to be customizable for every individual and couple, depending on whether you're in need of income now, or if you can predict a future need for income, or you want to protect your spouse in the event that you pass away early. There's so many different options that probably weren't as popular as they are now. And so when we first meet with clients, that is one of the first things we talk about is your income now and in the future, and what changes to your expenses are going to occur that's going to require a new need for more income. And so that's a big part of our planning.
Yeah, people love having options, right? And so giving them, say almost a menu to choose from in a lot of ways is good. And it also goes to the fact that it's not one size fits all. I think a lot of people might have those misconceptions about oh, if I go to this particular retirement professional, this financial professional, they're going to just sort of sell me the package of whatever they offer to everybody, so I don't really need to go see them. That's not at all what it comes down to for you all, because as we've been saying here, everybody's situation is unique to them. And it's that way when it comes to thinking about and planning for income in retirement as well, because everybody's needs are different.
Right. And thinking about that income need in retirement, in the past, it was just your Social Security. And then if you were lucky enough to have a pension, and, you know, although those things are true, there are other ways to generate income, because as we know, as we get older, our expenses tend to increase, not decrease.
Right. And you know, a version of that plan, and we try to treat all of our clients, and we do as family. And I have a story about my grandmother where for the last couple of years that my grandfather was alive, he was very sick and she had to take care of him. And so one of the things that we try to plan for with our clients is called the widow's tax. So what that means is when one of the spouses passes away, the lower Social Security check is now gone out of that home. And so a lot of people think that my expenses are going to go down, and generally it's the opposite. You know, for my grandmother's sake, because she spent a lot of time at home taking care of my grandfather after he passed away and she had a chance to grieve, she wanted to go out and travel more and visit more. And a story I remember is that, you know, my grandmother and I, we went to Epcot here in Orlando, Florida, Central Florida, and that was not something that she would have been able to do while he, you know, was sick and she was taking care of him. So the point I'm making is that your expenses generally, when you lose a loved one, don't necessarily go down. In most cases, they go up. I know she goes out to eat with her friends more often. She's traveling down to Florida to see the grandkids and great-grandkids. And so that's something that we discuss in our meetings. Is that something you were looking for?
Yeah, and just replacing that lower check that would leave the house if someone were to pass away early. How are you going to make up for that loss of income?
Yeah, making up that gap that's left behind. And I love the image that I have now mentally of grandma at Epcot. I think that is amazing. You're a good grandson. I was going to say a great grandson, but you're a grandson, but you're a good one. There we go. Before we take a quick break here, you're going to notice a QR code that is on your screen. It'll be there throughout the show. Take out your phone, scan that code at any time. Bradley and Madison will be happy to set up an initial appointment with you and a consultation that's free of any cost and any obligation, get you started down the road to a solid retirement. All right, stick around because there's much more Retirement Your Way still to come. Welcome back. This is Retirement Your Way. I'm Matt McClure. Really appreciate you being a part of the show today. The biggest part of the show, though, Bradley and Madison Harden, they are right over here. They're the ones who, just give you all the wisdom that you need to make your retirement something that you can have your way. That's kind of the name of the show. So it's what we do around here. We really do appreciate, though, all of the wisdom that you share. And we're going to actually share a particular case that is a real one now that, of course, we've changed the name here, but we're going to protect the identity, protect the innocent. We're going to call them the Smith family. And it really is a great illustration of kind of what we were talking about as far as the income part of this, because it was a big concern for them. But they had a lot of different concerns when it came to their particular retirement plan and kind of where they were headed compared to where they're headed now.
Right. And so we met this couple, and when we met them, they were still in phase one of retirement, which is accumulation. So they're still building. He's an active day trader on the market. He likes to manage the family's money, but the wife had just retired. And so now he's retired, she's retired. So now we're kind of going into more of phase two of retirement, which is preparing, planning, and preservation. And so one thing that she did not retire with was a pension check, whereas her company leaned more on contribution plans. So she did retire with a 401k that she then rolled over into her own IRA. So when we met them initially, we had no pension, and all of the assets they had, he was day trading and investing actively on the market. And so we started talking a little bit about phase 2, which is preserving, and Madison's going to tell you a little bit about what happened next.
Yeah, and in their scenario, he is a little bit older and his health is not, necessarily the best at this point. And so he had a concern about what was going to happen if he passed away. How was she going to be able to manage these funds? Did she want to manage these funds? And to answer that, she did not. She did not want the responsibility nor the obligation to manage those things. So that was one area that we found that we could reposition them. So we were able to roll over a portion of their assets. Luckily, they did have a large amount of funds to work with, and we let him keep managing what he wanted to kind of have his fingers in the painting, and then we were able to create a separate pension plan for her. So the money is safe. It's parked in the garage, so to speak. And whenever she's ready, if he were to pass away, or even before that, whenever they're ready to start that guaranteed income, she just has to make one phone call to either Bradley or myself, and she's going to begin to receive a monthly income check that she can never outlive.
Right. And the vehicle we use is called a fixed indexed annuity. So it accomplishes a lot of things, mainly two things that it accomplished was safety. So that money now is no longer invested on the market. Now it can earn with the market appreciation, but if the market declines, it's not going to decline. And secondly, as Madison said, when she's ready to start drawing on that money, she'll be able to use that income and it will pay her for the rest of her life. So we were able to create that pension plan that her company did not offer her in retirement.
And that's just a lot of great assurances now that they have for both of their, retirement years. And obviously, he loved obviously doing and still does, I'm sure, for that one portion of the investment portfolio, doing the day trading and all of that, and kind of playing around with stocks and just having fun with it, because that's something that he enjoyed. She obviously did not want to be forced to have to do that, because it's not something that she enjoyed.
Yeah.
So, making happy marriages as well.
Exactly. We satisfied both parties in that group, so that was good.
They're not certified marriage counselors or anything like that, but they do help with, making marriages.
The gift with purchase.
Exactly. Free with purchase. Not only do you get, your complimentary consultation, you get a complimentary happier marriage. At least this couple did, and that's a lot of good news for them. And I feel like, this is a scenario that's probably been repeated over and over again, at least not in the exact numbers or in the exact situation where, like, the husband loves to do all the trading and the wife doesn't, but giving people that peace of mind when they have these questions, when they have the worry, when they have the stress of it, because then that stress can end up costing you more in retirement as well, because that can have a negative impact on your health. And then if you're not healthy, you're, not going to have as much money to spend on the things that you want to spend on, because you're having to spend it on healthcare or the doctor's office and all of those things. So it just covers so many, it seems like it's just one thing, but it covers so many bases.
Exactly.
Love that. All right. Well, folks, if you are watching and you would like to take part in one of those initial consultations, maybe something about this scenario spoke to you. Maybe you have questions about your retirement situation. Just give Bradley and Madison a call. You can call the number that's there on the screen, scan the QR code that's right there on the screen as well, or the website that is also there on the screen. Everything is there for you. All you have to do is look for it, use it, and they'll give you that consultation. All right? Stick around. Much more of Retirement Your Way still to come right after this. Welcome back. This is Retirement Your Way with AmeriLife of Central Florida. Matt McClure here alongside Bradley and Madison Hardin. And it is time for us to play right or wrong. It is our favorite financial game. So are the two of you ready?
We're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm going to explain to the folks watching exactly how this is going to work, because I'm going to try and fool these two with some statements about your financial life, right? And some concepts that we've been covering here on the show and some stuff that we haven't. But I'm going to present it as if it is just the honest truth, and they're going to see right through me, as they do every time, and tell me if that statement is right or if it's wrong. That's why the game is called Right or Wrong, right? And we keep it pretty simple on that score. But what we want you to do as well is play along with us, because we're kind of testing your financial knowledge. See if you've been paying attention during the show so far, all right? So here we go with statement number 1, and it is this. A retiree's Social Security check will likely be enough to cover their monthly expenses in retirement.
That is wrong. So Social Security is said to replace about 40% of your working income. And right now it's about $1,900 a month estimated for Americans now. So sadly, that's not going to be enough to cover all of your expenses in retirement.
Right, and you don't want to rely 100% on Social Security to be your retirement plan. You want to kind of do it your way. And so as part of that initial meeting, we'll go over how much are you currently earning at your job if you're still working, but more importantly, what are your anticipated expenses? And then we work as a collaboration to figure out what's the best plan to be able to pay those expenses and still be able to take those vacations and see your family and to do the things you want to do in retirement.
Yeah. And you were talking about that, like, sort of $1,900 a month kind of on average, according to some recent statistics here. You know, if that's the average kind of Social Security payment, and that means, you know, a lot of people kind of are drawing more, but there are a lot of people who are drawing less than that. And so you want it to be the situation where maybe that's the cherry on top, that $1,900 or whatever yours ends up being per month. It's not what you're relying on, as you say, for your complete retirement.
Right.
Well, let's go on now to number 2 then. Since I didn't fool you with number 1, let's go to number 2, which is, when it comes to your IRA, your 401k, or other retirement plan, the best strategy is to just set it up, forget about it, and just keep saving.
That is wrong. So if you can track it, you can change it. So the theory there is that as you're working and contributing to these dollars, that's going to be what provides you that secure lifestyle in retirement. And we've had clients many times tell us that because of the news they heard that the market is down, they've neglected to log in simply out of fear. They don't want to see how bad it actually affected them, and which is not good. You want to know exactly what's going on to be able to have that comfortable retirement.
Yeah, and I know that you guys were telling me earlier before we went on the air here that you love getting calls from your clients, you know, people who have been with you for a while, have had this plan in place that you've come up with, because it's very good news when you know, you get a call from them, because yeah, if there's been a rocky time in the market, like I say, you know, during 2022 and that sort of time period, maybe way on back in 2008 kind of time period, people who were invested in the vehicles that you use, they didn't lose a thing when everybody else was really suffering.
Right. As we say, zero is your hero. If you see that your account has, you know, it hasn't gained anything, well, it also hasn't lost. So we only take happy phone calls, and, you know, we sleep better at night. Our clients sleep better at night knowing that their retirement and their assets that they've worked so hard to accumulate are safe against market fluctuation.
Love it. Better sleep all around. That's always a good thing. All right, number 3 here. You don't need to work for the government or even have access to a defined benefit plan to create your own personal pension.
That's correct. So as we know, pensions are only supplied to about 1/3 of Americans in 2024. So we are able to create those personal pensions for our clients when they weren't able to receive one from their employer.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of companies start to switch over from those defined benefit plans over to defined contribution plans. So you've got 401k, 403b, 457s, and people don't really know what to do once they retire. They know I'm supposed to save and this is my magic day on the calendar, but what do I do as I approach retirement? And so if a pension was not offered to you, you have the ability to create your own. And that is something that we specialize in.
Yeah, which is, I think, eye-opening probably to a lot of folks who just, don't even know that that's an option for them. And, I mean, giving people options, I think, is always a good thing because people like choices. This is America. We like our choices.
Yeah,
we like
this is retirement your way.
Exactly.
So.
This is retirement your way. We want to have our retirement our way. So that is just another example of how you can actually do that inside a plan. Like the ones that you're able to craft for your clients, and working with them, not just telling people what to do, but working in conjunction.
Right. There's no smoke and mirrors with the way that we operate our business. We just try to help educate and then collaborate together to create the plan.
Yeah. No, don't look over here. Don't look over here. No, look over here. Look everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
And we'll work with you to come up with something. I absolutely love that transparency. All right. One more here to go in this edition of Right or Wrong. It is too expensive to work with a financial professional, and you'll be better off managing your money on your own.
That is wrong. So we do see that the people that have trusted professionals helping them with retirement have a smoother ride. Now, that's just from the clients that we've helped, and we do look forward to meeting new people to help them create that, 5 o'clock summer retirement if that's the way that you want it to be.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, and the whole reason for the show, really. We'll say it again, retirement your way, because whatever you want it to be really is the meat of, the whole point of this, I guess I should say, because we want you to have the retirement that you've always dreamed of. Now, here's the thing. If you want to get started along that road to have the retirement that you have always dreamed of, scan the QR code. It's right there on your screen, and you can be taken to the website, which will then give you a form to fill out, a simple one, and you can get your initial consultation set up with Bradley and Madison. It's just that easy. Stick around. Much more retirement your way still to come. This is Retirement Your Way with AmeriLife of Central Florida. Matt McClure here with you, and I thank you for being here with us. And by us, I want to bring in once again Bradley and Madison Harden with AmeriLife of Central Florida. Just so glad to have you both here sharing those nuggets of wisdom and knowledge with the audience today. I know that we've covered a lot of territory so far, talking about income, especially in your retirement years, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. What's kind of the biggest takeaway for you both when it comes to this particular topic that we've been covering?
I think the main takeaway would be that it is great to have that big nest egg, all of your investments growing, working for you, but the income in retirement is really what is going to set the tone of how your retirement experience is.
Right, I agree. And not everybody is fortunate enough to retire with a pension from their company. We've seen a lot of private companies switch to a defined contribution plan like a 401k, 403b. And so, coming up with ways to create income from those accounts versus just simply taking distributions. And as we talked about in the previous case study is, if you don't have that, you have the ability to create your own personal pension, which does promise for as long as you live, that will pay you forever. And so it's different because if you were to just have this big nest egg and you are taking money out every month, every year, however you do it, if that is not set up to pay out forever, once you get to zero, it's all gone. There will be nothing else to get from that account.
And then you would have to rely then solely on, say, Social Security, if all of that money is gone in that investment account, that other type of retirement account, and you could find yourself in a bad way, especially with the prospect of Social Security payments having to be cut in the future. If as the Social Security Administration itself is saying, look, our funds are going to start running dry, and we're going to have to do something. And the something right now, it looks like it's going to have to maybe be a cut in benefits at some point in the future. So that, having that guaranteed income for life takes a lot of that uncertainty just off the table.
Right. And what we see a lot is it can be a split house. One person may kind of have enjoyment in watching the market, tracking the funds, kind of playing with their portfolio in their own way, and maybe have more insight on that. And then the other spouse or other person in the home doesn't have that desire to want to manage their own accounts or figure out what the best position is to be in. And so in the case study that we talked about on this episode, we were able to ensure that if he were to pass away early, she was just going to be able to make one phone call and keep that income check going for as long as her life progresses into retirement, and she can live to be 100, 101, and that paycheck is still going to continue. And not only that, but the account is still earning on the market in the indexes that were chosen. So there may be something left over even after she's lived off that money for her beneficiaries.
Right. And us being a married couple we can give a unique perspective as, here's what we do and here's how we think. Is that something that matches what you guys want to do?
Yeah. And that I think is very important to emphasize because, as that gives you a unique perspective on your own life, it gives you a unique perspective on your clients' lives perhaps as well. And, helps you in being able to come up with a plan while working with them, not against them or just telling them what to do. Talk about kind of that initial, and not only the initial meeting, but kind of the process and the way that you all like to work with people even after the initial meeting as well.
Right. And in that initial meeting, we need to get to know who you are and also give you guys a chance to know who we are. And so we really just ask some questions, you ask us questions, and we try to get a base of what your retirement goals are, whether it to be a little bit more aggressive or maybe it's leaning more on the side of safety. And we try to make sure that every plan is custom to the clients that we are meeting with. And so that's part of the process when we sit down.
Yeah. And then moving forward, of course, you work together to create that plan based on all of that you learn. And then you sort of do that deep dive, that analysis to create the plan and create it with the people that you meet with and that you work with. And folks, if that sounds like something that would be good for you, if it sounds like a relationship that you would like to find yourself in financially, where someone is working with you and for you and not against you and just telling you what to do, but actually listening to your concerns and your wants and needs and desires for retirement, all you have to do is scan that QR code. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. You can also go to the website or call the phone number. All right. Well, Bradley, Madison, thank you both again so much. Really do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. And we'll see you again next time for another edition of Retirement Your Way.
The preceding program was sponsored by AmeriLife of Central Florida.